This case just took a chilling turn, and what investigators uncovered will send shivers down your spine. You will learn of the new creepy details in our video today. Here at True Crime Diaries, we waited, separating speculation from verified facts, before bringing you this disturbing and heartbreaking story. Together, we'll explore how a promising young girl's disappearance spiraled into one of the darkest investigations of 2025. With new development of LAPD confirming that D4VD is not a suspect and his retention of high-profile attorney, authorities said Celeste was likely dead for several weeks before discovery. To her body released to family and funeral arrangements made, Hollywood Hills home searched, evidence seized, and sudden move out are part of all we'll break down and explain in details in this video. In the days following the discovery of Celeste's dismembered body in the Tesla, several clips began circulating online, one allegedly showing Celeste and D4VD together during a live stream. In the video, a disturbing remark sparked outrage among viewers, raising serious concern across social media. But they both laughed it off, but that cannot be overlooked.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids. I need
Really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
In another resurfaced clip, D4VD was asked about his plans for the next 5 years. His response, now being re-examined by fans and investigators alike, has taken on new meaning in light of recent events.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Okay, so the plan is hopefully this music thing takes off crazy next year.
Why is he saying? Why are you saying that like you're not like up there, gang?
Well, I'm not there yet, but hopefully
okay.
it's like even crazier next year. And then I go on crazy year after year for the next 3 years, and then on the 4th year I retire. And on the 5th year I'm off the grid, living somewhere like on an island with this crazy crib, no social media, no digital footprint. I'm just gone. I'm just gone. In 5 years, I'm gonna be gone.
Will you still remember me?
Yeah, bro. You'll have like the secret codes to the mansion.
Yeah?
You can pull up on a.
What's the secret code? Give us the first 2 numbers.
Absolutely
of the secret.
not.
And then, there's another lyric from one of his songs, a line that hits very differently now. What once sounded like poetic expression has taken on an eerie new weight, especially as investigators continue to piece together what really happened.
I don't care about the love when I'm with you, 'cause I be breaking it all the time. And I don't really mean to cause no issue, but I need you to know, that life get crazy. So won't you let me slow it down? Yes, no, or maybe. I take it as a yes, 'cause you're still around. Till I feel it, dark hair, brown skin, love that melody. Baby, if you look up for love, I think they sell it. On the corner of the street that I'm felony.
And then, another video began circulating, this time showing streamer Aiden Ross reacting to the situation during a phone call with another individual. Viewers debated his tone and comments, adding yet another layer of public speculation to an already tense and emotional case.
Okay, but Unc, what about the vivid video of him and the 13-year-old linking up?
So, how can we prove they had sexual intercourse?
What were they doing, Unc? Playing fucking Fortnite, bro? Come on.
No, listen. Me and you know that. The police know that.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the police. How do you prove it? I see.
Evidence to convict him.
Okay, so we gotta just wait and see what happens, bro.
All I keep telling everybody, but why would they let a black man in America? If we really believe the police is against us, that we're going through injustices, what black man gets to walk around in America and tour as a millionaire when all the evidence says he's guilty? They let Diddy do it.
That's true.
So I'm saying, homie, maybe somebody else killed this kid because he even went to the police station to talk to the police.
In a recent interview with Say Cheese, comedian Charleston White shared his perspective on the case, saying he doesn't believe singer-songwriter D4VD is responsible for the death of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was discovered in the front trunk of a Tesla register dim.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
He didn't do it.
Fuck out of here. All the evidence that's out there.
When they gonna let a nigga stay out this long and they got a little bit of evidence? They didn't arrest nigga with way less evidence. If nothing else, put him in jail just to put a hole on him.
A dead body found in your car?
Listen, hold on. If they found a dead body in me and your car, and this is our car, do you think they'll let me and you stay out like long? They got all, so think about this. If they got all this information on him dating a minor, an underage kid, and she look like a white girl, mixed girl, what nigga they let just stay free like this? We already claim about injustices. You don't think, like we see in all the first 48s in crime units victims, they would find some kind of reason to hold him and keep him, make sure he don't do nothing to flee? They're not, no arrest. They got all this evidence to point to say he did it. He done sliced the body up because the body was butchered. So that means somewhere there's a location where there's been blood, where they put cut the lights. They got all this, no arrest? Y'all really think he done this and everything points at him? That's why you can't go with this. If everything points at him, why hadn't they made no arrest when we see niggas get arrested with less evidence? With less evidence, circumstantial evidence they go to trial with. So they got all this physical evidence in his car, his girlfriend. Come on, man.
Streamer Jason the Ween has responded to being linked to the ongoing situation involving D4VD and the death of Celeste Rivas. Addressing the rumors, he stated, "The Celeste I met at the Faze house is different from the Celeste that was found. R.I.P. Celeste." His comment quickly gained traction online, sparking further discussion and confusion about the connections between those involved.
Because the narrative that's been spun on Twitter. First off, I want to retract my statement. Obviously, the other day, I was defending David before all the new evidence came out. I do not condone anything that David has done or is doing, okay? That shit is wicked and it's just unbelievable. It's been a lot to process. And one more thing, I want to say, the girl that I met named Celeste at the Faze house is not the same Celeste that was killed. RIP to that girl. One thing I also want to add to the David situation. I did not know anything. I'm not even close friends with David. I made a song with him. All right, I had dinner with him one time in a group setting, and then saying I'm best friends with him. No, bro.
An alleged backstage clip has recently resurfaced, reportedly showing Celeste Rivas with D4VD's brother after one of D4VD's performances on June 27, 2024. The footage, said to have been taken behind the scenes following the show, has reignited public debate. The clip shows D4VD on stage, forming a heart shape with his hand towards a girl standing on a balcony during one of his concerts. The moment quickly went viral, with many online speculating that the girl might have been Celeste Rivas. However, it was later confirmed that the girl in the video was not Celeste, putting those rumors to rest. Celeste Rivas' former teacher reportedly told students that Celeste first met D4VD through social media. The revelation has added another layer to the story, highlighting how their connection may have started online before it ever reached the real world.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was
we all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper, and then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media.
In a past interview, D4VD spoke at length about the meaning behind his lyrics, sparking debate among fans and critics alike. Some argue that his songs often carried dark, emotional undertones, while others saw them as purely artistic expression. Now, in light of recent events, those same lyrics are being re-examined through a much darker lens, with many wondering if his art may have reflected more than just fiction.
Really to art, like, as a means of coping.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But you saying expecting it, meaning like you get into a friendship expecting it to end in a devastating, tragic, sad way, so it can inspire art, but are you manifesting that in a certain degree?
I don't know. I hope I'm not. I really hope I'm not, because it feels that way. Because like, I look back to old songs like Life's a Dream and all these songs I wrote in my closet or my sister's closet in 2022, when I'm looking at my life in the past 8 to 9 months, I'm like, whoa. Like, bro, these songs are soundtracking my life. So I hope I'm not involuntarily doing that, but it might be that way to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. And that's why I wanted to put, Afterlife and all these songs that feel like endings and conclusions and goodbyes on the project, to kind of solidify that message of this is the end of something, not the beginning.
Here, didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't?
Yeah, and I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah.
But today you are? Or you are?
I've been through a couple. I'm single there right now, but I've been through a few, and they've taught me a lot of things, and they've shown me what love is and what love isn't, and how to approach it, and how to be human with it and not be so artist, and not look for the things to write about in these types of situations. And I've kind of been more mature about it and getting emotionally intelligent with it. And with this interlude, it's kind of like telling my view on what the invisible string theory is, or the scarlet string, or the...
If Celeste Rivas was alive today, she would have turned 15. She was 13 when she went missing. On September 8th, 2025, her decomposed body was discovered wrapped in plastic inside the front trunk of a Tesla, a car registered to rising music star D4VD, David Anthony Burke. Police say a foul odor led to the discovery at an impound lot. Within hours, detectives raided a Hollywood Hills residence tied to the artist, seizing electronics, computers, and personal items. That was only the beginning. What followed were eerie coincidences. Celeste had a small tattoo on her finger, the same tattoo D4VD is known to have. Fans then began spotting disturbing similarities between the crime scene and imagery in his past music videos, including one where he drags a body to a car trunk. Here are claims yet to be verified and official. D4VD friends claims they have met Celeste with D4VD before, and she uses fake IDs to present herself to be older. They believe she and D4VD traveled and hung out as a couple. She was present in places with age restrictions. Even though the friends believe Celeste was 19, the official identification of the human remains list her as 15 years old, or that is what many major outlets are reporting. This discrepancy is a core tension in coverage, asides all the friends to D4VD had said. Neighbor claims D4VD and Celeste Rivas lived together in the house as a couple. They were pretty quiet and never saw police there, and didn't hear them partying or anything. Nothing wild. No credible source, news outlet, law enforcement, or coroner, has confirmed that Celeste Rivas was indeed pregnant. No official record has verified any infant remains being found near D4VD's home as related to this case. Reports of such remains are based on social media speculation. The Discord screenshots and deleted user references have not been confirmed as authentic or linked definitively to Celeste in any legal filing or law enforcement statement. Based on currently verified information, the rumors about pregnancy are unsubstantiated. They come mainly from social media, unverified chat logs, and speculative interpretations. Authorities have not corroborated any of the claims about pregnancy or infant remains. It's possible these rumors are part of public speculation, wanting to fill gaps in the official narrative. But speculation is not proof. We stand with Celeste's family and demand that justice be served for this tragic and horrifying crime. Now that you know just how chilling this case has become, let's rewind and dive into the details. Let's break it all down from the newest development to the very beginning. How did Celeste go from a bright, promising teenager to the center of one of the most disturbing investigations of the year? Let's piece together the timeline, from her disappearance, to the shocking Tesla discovery, to the police raids and the internet theories that have everyone talking. Before we go into the details in this case, let's have a recap of how it all started. April 5th, 2024 is the date commonly reported when Celeste was first listed as missing. At that young age, just 13, her disappearance raised concerns, but initial leads remained cold. Over the months that followed, she remained absent from reachable contact. Friends, family, and local police maintained efforts, but the trail faded. Fast forward to September 2025. A Tesla registered to D4VD was towed to a Hollywood impound lot after being reported abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. The vehicle had reportedly been parked there for days. On September 8th, employees at the tow yard reported a foul smell coming from the car. Authorities responded and opened the front trunk, also known as frunk, where they discovered a body wrapped in plastic. The remains were badly decomposed, and forensic teams took over. It took over a week for the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office to formally identify the body as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, confirming the tragic connection. On September 17th, law enforcement executed a search warrant on a Hollywood Hills home tied to D4VD, seizing electronics, computers, and other items to be analyzed as evidence. By September 23rd, Celeste's body was released back to her family after the coroner's office completed its initial work. The cause of death remains listed as deferred, that is, pending deeper investigation. Meanwhile, the investigation was publicly escalated. D4VD canceled the remainder of his U.S. tour and promotional activities, and brands severed business ties. Through every step, the puzzle has grown more complex. Investigators must still pinpoint the cause, timeline, and ultimate responsibility. Celeste Rivas was not a random victim. She was a young girl with a life, friends, dreams, and a community that mourns her deeply. She lived in Lake Elsinore in Riverside County, California, and was known by neighbors and family as a studious, kind, and ambitious teenager. Her disappearance had already raised alarm well before 2025. Reports indicate she had been reported missing in April 2024. At that time, she was only 13 years old, making the timeline even more tragic. Friends and acquaintances describe her as someone who smiled easily, who had goals and interests, and who seemed to be on the edge of growing up and stepping into the world. In her social media presence, she shared photos, moments, and hints of her personality. Her family, now grieving, has painted a portrait of a girl much more than the headlines. In statements and tributes, They emphasized she was a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a friend, and someone who deserved a full life, not this tragic end. As the investigation unfolded, people in her hometown lit candles, held vigils, and shared her face across news and social media, insisting that her story not be forgotten in the swirl of speculation. Celeste's life was short but real, and her loss has left a void that no number of clues or headlines can fully fill. The link between D4VD, in this case, is far more than a headline. At the core is that the Tesla in question was registered to David Anthony Burke, aka D4VD. That registration immediately placed the investigation's spotlight on him. In interviews and online commentary, many have noted parallels between D4VD's artistic work and the circumstances of this crime. A resurfaced interview revealed that D4VD once described an alter ego called Itami, a character who commits murders that his detective self must then solve.
And I had the idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears his blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself. And it was like a cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it. Like it was in the vault for like months and months and months. And I introduced it for the first time on screen because I had the opportunity with music to kind of explore this idea further with the Romantic Homicide music video. And people were asking so many questions. I was like, yo, this is kind of fire, because like nobody would have ever heard of it if it wasn't for this music video. But Itami was the staple of this music video. You kind of see him throughout the entire thing. He's holding the knife with the bloody thing. You get the girl who's basically like the ghost of the person that he killed. It was his first victim in the manga. And I put that all on screen, and me and Itami had a great time just like chopping it up and getting to kind of merge creative ideas on the entire thing. And the Bloody Rose aesthetic was birthed in that music video as well, and kind of me representing my entire artistry through this rose, which is like beautiful things can hurt you, with the stems having thorns on them. And that became my entire aesthetic for like the rest of time. I kind of still, even to this day, use that Bloody Rose to kind of show how beautiful things can hurt you, even through music. Like music is very beautiful, but it can also hurt you with the lyrics, or, you know, make you think about certain things in your own life that make you think about painful things and stuff like that. So yeah, that music video was the focal point and the start and foundation of all the different songs and music videos and creative points, and the creative direction for like my album now, and all that stuff literally came from that one music video in Arizona. So shout out to Tommy Killjoy, because without that music video, none of that would have happened.
That analogy has since drawn scrutiny in light of this case. In a video, we saw D4VD brought a coffin to a show, along with a wreath and a notepad, inviting fans to write letters to the deceased, but it was claimed to be stage prop in a live performance and promotional coverage. Fans and media called the imagery disturbing visuals, especially in light of the ongoing investigation.
Now, why the fuck would the artist do that?
Fans and critics also point to one of his music videos, One More Dance, which includes imagery of dragging a body to a trunk. While intended as artistic expression, the visual similarity to what occurred has raised eyebrows. Meanwhile, The tattoo match draws repeated attention. Both Celeste and D4VD reportedly shared a small tattoo on their index fingers. Whether this is coincidence, meaningful connection, or symbolic overlap remains under scrutiny. Another detail fueling speculation is an unreleased song titled Celeste, which allegedly contains lyrics referencing a relationship with someone named Celeste. While not confirmed as evidence, the overlap in names and timing has added fuel to public debate. Despite intense scrutiny, as of now D4VD has not been charged, and police are treating him as a cooperating party. No official statement names him as a suspect. Investigators emphasize they require evidence beyond speculation. The tension between public assumption and legal restraint is palpable. Art, fame, and tragedy collide in the investigation shadows. From the moment the front was opened, investigators took a methodical approach. The scene became a rolling crime lab. Nitrile gloves, forensic swabs, fingerprint lifts, fiber analysis, and biological samples. Every inch was documented. Timeline analysis suggests the remains had been in the vehicle long enough for decomposition to progress significantly. The intense heat inside the enclosed frunk would have accelerated decay. Video surveillance and street cameras around the Hollywood Hills area were reviewed, tracking the Tesla's movements before it was towed. Each stationary hour and travel leg became a clue. Meanwhile, digital forensics teams have examined Celeste's phone records, message logs, social media activity, and location data to reconstruct her final hours and possible connections. Among the more disturbing clues are the symbolic overlaps, the tattoo match, the Yatami alter ego interview, and the music video imagery that resonates too closely with this crime. While none are proof on their own, together they deepen the mystery. Police have not released all forensic findings, but sources say they are awaiting results from toxicology, DNA matching, and other lab analyses. These results could be the bridge between speculation and cause. What is clear, investigators are proceeding cautiously, needing evidence that holds up in court, not just theory. Now let's go over the details we should note together. 1. LAPD confirms D4VD is not a suspect and retains high-profile attorney. In one of the most pivotal updates in the Celeste Rivas case, the Los Angeles Police Department publicly confirmed that musician D4VD, David Anthony Burke, is not currently a suspect in the investigation into her death. This clarification came as speculation and conspiracy theories flooded social media, forcing law enforcement to emphasize that no charges have been filed against the singer. However, despite not being officially accused, D4VD's camp made a strategic move, retaining a high-profile criminal defense attorney, known for representing prominent figures such as Harvey Weinstein. The decision instantly fueled speculation, signaling that his legal team was preparing for any eventual outcome. This combination, a non-suspect status paired with powerhouse legal representation, paints a complicated picture. It suggests a cautious, proactive stance amid a media storm that continues to associate his name with the tragedy. Authorities reiterated that while D4VD is cooperating, the investigation remains open and ongoing. 2. Authorities say Celeste was likely dead for several weeks before discovery. Investigators now believe that Celeste Rivas had been deceased for several weeks before her body was found inside the Tesla registered to D4VD. This grim revelation emerged after forensic experts analyzed the advanced decomposition of her remains, alongside the environmental conditions of the car. Reports indicate that the Tesla had been parked and possibly abandoned for over a month before being towed and impounded. The coroner's timeline suggests Celeste's death occurred well before her discovery, expanding the investigative window from days to weeks. This raises serious questions. How could a car sit for so long unnoticed? And who might have had access to it during that period? Detectives are now combing through surveillance footage, digital data, and traffic records to reconstruct her final movements and identify anyone involved in concealing her remains. This haunting detail transforms the narrative. What once appeared to be a spontaneous or reckless act now hints at premeditation and calculated concealment. Forensic analysis continues to explore whether decomposition patterns, trace materials, or heat exposure from the Tesla's closed trunk might reveal more about when, and possibly how, she died. 3. Body released to family and private burial. After weeks of forensic examination, Celeste Rivas' remains were officially released to her family on September 23, 2025. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office authorized the transfer, allowing her loved ones to begin the process of honoring her memory. A funeral service was held days later, on October 6, 2025, during a private ceremony attended only by family and close friends. She was laid to rest at Queen of Heaven Cemetery in Rowland Heights, California. This moment held both procedural and symbolic significance. Procedurally, releasing the body suggests the coroner's office had completed essential testing, such as toxicology, tissue sampling, and preliminary report drafting, even though the official cause of death is still deferred, pending further investigation. Symbolically, the burial marked a moment of solace amid heartbreak. For the first time, the narrative moved from headline to humanity. Celeste's family, after weeks of waiting, finally held a solemn farewell. For many advocates and supporters of missing persons justice, the ceremony stood as a reminder. Behind every investigation is a grieving family demanding answers. Not merely answers in a court of law, but dignity, memory, and accountability. The private nature of the service underscores their wish for peace and privacy in the midst of intense public scrutiny. As investigators continue their work, reviewing the Tesla evidence, analyzing digital forensics from seized electronics, and awaiting the coroner's final conclusions, this moment of release and burial is a brief pause. It allows the world to remember Celeste not just as a victim, but as a daughter, sister, friend. And while the mystery remains, her family's hope for closure continues to fuel the demand for justice. 4. D4VD cancels tour. Brands distance themselves and public scrutiny intensifies. In the aftermath of the discovery, D4VD abruptly canceled all remaining U.S. and international tour dates, including high-profile shows in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Within days, ticketing platforms removed listings, and fans seeking refunds flooded social media. This move coincided with major brands, including Crocs and Hollister, quietly pulling promotional content and collaborations with the artist, a strategic effort to avoid reputational fallout. As the public connected his music and imagery to the case, speculation grew louder. Lyrics once seen as metaphorical were now dissected under a darker lens. His song Romantic Homicide, for example, re-entered charts as online discussions questioned its eerie parallels to current events. Critics debated whether this was art foreshadowing life or mere coincidence. The backlash extended beyond fans. Commentators and journalists began drawing symbolic connections, tattoos, stage props, and visuals, trying to map creative expression onto real-world tragedy. For the artist, it was a cultural and career implosion, even without a criminal charge. 5. Hollywood Hills home searched, evidence seized, and sudden move out. A major forensic development occurred when LAPD investigators executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills residence linked to D4VD. While not owned by him, the property was one where he reportedly stayed during his time in Los Angeles. Law enforcement sources confirmed the seizure of multiple computers, electronic devices, and storage drives believed to hold digital communications and geolocation data. Shortly after the search, moving trucks were spotted outside the property. Reports indicated that D4VD's management had terminated the lease, and the residence was cleared out in the days that followed. This timing raised eyebrows. A move-out immediately following a police search gave the impression of strategic distancing. Investigators are reportedly analyzing the seized electronics for clues, deleted messages, GPS pings, digital photos, and metadata that could connect to Celeste's timeline or the use of the Tesla. 6. Celeste's disappearance in April 2024. The tragedy began more than a year earlier. Celeste Rivas was first reported missing on April 5, 2024, from Lake Elsinore, California, at just 13 years old. Local authorities had previously logged multiple instances of her running away and returning home, cases that painted a picture of a vulnerable teen navigating instability and possible personal conflict. Her disappearance that spring didn't immediately trigger national concern. It was one of many missing teen cases across Southern California, and without signs of abduction or violence, it faded into the background of police databases. Her family continued searching, posting on social media, and pleading for her safe return. Only after the Tesla discovery in 2025 did her case resurface with chilling significance. That's when the pieces started connecting. Her missing status, the discovery of her body, and the mysterious link to a popular musician. This case remains far from solved. As forensic labs continue analyses, timelines are refined, and digital records are scrutinized, the hope is that clarity will emerge, and with it, responsibility. Investigators must answer urgent questions. Who last touched the Tesla? Who sealed her in the trunk? What role did others play? And when did she die? These details will determine how justice moves forward. The public remains on edge. Parents warn their children. Students whisper her name in hallways. Social media users debate and analyze every shred of information. The case has become a shared concern, but speculation must not override facts. Law enforcement has repeatedly urged patience. The difference between an arrest and a miscarriage of justice is evidence that holds up in court, not the loudness of social media. For Celeste's family, every day is waiting. They deserve answers, accountability, and a future where their daughter's name is honored. Their call is simple: bring justice for Celeste. As the screen fades, consider this: the evidence will speak. The questions now are not whether there was motive, but who had opportunity and who will be held responsible. Until that day comes, we all remain witnesses. Celeste Rivas should have had her whole life ahead of her, but instead, her story ended in the most heartbreaking and chilling way imaginable. A teenager who went missing in 2024 is now at the center of one of the most disturbing investigations in Los Angeles. Investigators are still working tirelessly, reviewing evidence from the Tesla, analyzing electronics seized from the Hollywood Hills home, and waiting for the coroner's final determination of how Celeste died. Every piece of evidence matters, and every day brings us one step closer to the truth. As the case continues, one thing is clear: Celeste's memory deserves justice. This is more than a headline. It's a call for accountability, for answers, and for safety for every young person. What do you think happened in those final hours? Do the eerie music video parallels mean something? Or is it just coincidence? If you care about this case, share this video to keep Celeste's story alive. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you won't miss any updates as this investigation develops. Together, we can keep the pressure on for the truth to come out. That's a wrap on today's case. But the story doesn't stop here. There are countless voices still unheard, stories still in the shadows, and truths still waiting to be uncovered. Here at True Crime Diaries, we're dedicated to digging deep, exposing the facts, honoring the victims, and keeping their memories alive. Turn on notifications so you're always first to know when a new case drops. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.